Is Bitcoin a massive bubble waiting to burst, leaving a bunch of regular people holding the bag as it falls to zero? This is the question that I seek to answer in today's video, FUD Friday, Fear, Uncertainty, and Doubt Friday, which is a series where every Friday I answer one of the biggest questions in the Bitcoin space that people have about Bitcoin. I'm your host, Satoshi Guapamoto, and this is Gen Z BTC FUD Friday. So today we're going to answer, can Bitcoin go to zero? And the answer is no. Practically, Bitcoin cannot go to zero. We're going to go over a couple scenarios where it could go to zero, but those are very far and in between, few and far between, right? So first off, what does it mean for Bitcoin to go to zero? That would really mean that no one is using the protocol, no one sees value in the protocol, and because of that, Bitcoin's completely dead, and the network will no longer have any users. What would have to happen for a Bitcoin to have no more users? Well, given the way that the protocol is set up, the humans that use it, the people that use it, would literally have to be mind controlled or eradicated in some way, because rational actors want to use Bitcoin based on its properties, right? So someone might say, well, the code of Bitcoin can change. The truth is, the code of Bitcoin's been changed thousands and thousands of times. These are called altcoins, right? These are called forks of Bitcoin. The original Bitcoin network, BTC, is still going. And whenever people try to change the rules, they're basically going off and playing their own game, their own Bitcoin game. It's like making up your own version of chess. You can make up your own version where you say that all the pawns can actually move like the queen, and the queen actually moves like a pawn. But no one really wants to play your game, because the way the game's been played for thousands of years is the pawns move one space, maybe they move two, maybe they do an impasse pawn. I forget the exact name, but you know what I'm talking about if you're a chess player. And the queen gets to move everywhere over the board, right? You cannot go to a global chess tournament and tell Magnus Carlsen, hey, just by the way, we're playing by my rules, little buddy. We're playing by my rules, little buddy. He's going to tell you no, and everyone else there is going to tell you no, because they've already established the rules. The rules have been established. That's why the Bitcoin rules cannot be changed. That's why the actors in the Bitcoin network will not agree to rule changes. They're going to stick to the rule set that's been made, and any minor upgrades that will improve the network, they can go along with if majority of nodes agree to it. But the majority of nodes would not willingly agree to do something that would destroy the protocol, that would destroy the network, right? And we've seen that resilience for a long time now. Speaking of resilience, Bitcoin has been the scapegoat of many years of regulatory crackdowns, of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, of economic downturns, of recessions, of global instability. But despite that, even though people call for Bitcoin's death many times in the media, you could see how many times people have said, Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin's dead, Bitcoin's going to zero. But to their surprise, somehow this thing keeps going down and then back up. You know, the thing about bubbles in finance, they go up and then they go down and they never come back, because bubbles pop. They do not reinflate. They pop and they go away. All right. Tulip bubbles go up, then they pop and they go away. They never come back. Pets.com bubble. Pets.com goes up, they pop and they never come back. They go away. They go out of business. There have been many crypto scams and rug pulls that have gone up and then they pop and they go to zero. They never come back. But Bitcoin has gone up and down and up and down and up and down. Every time it goes back up, it's beating the previous all-time high. It's going up and to the right, much higher. Very similar to a growth stock or even to something like gold. It's just the fastest horse in the race. It just happens to be moving a lot quicker due to how scarce it truly is. So all of these characteristics, right? Bitcoin's divisibility, Bitcoin's immutability, the immutability of the blockchain, the inability to fake Bitcoins, right? Its divisibility, its ability to store value over long time periods and then transfer value over large distances, right? All of these things give Bitcoin a great utility value. It has great qualities of money. And because of that, people want to hold Bitcoin. People want to use Bitcoin. People want to fortify the Bitcoin network. Speaking of fortification, Bitcoin is the most powerful computer network in the world. You can Google that. That is just true because it has the highest hash rate of any other computer network in the world. The hash rate is representative of its security, right? So Bitcoin is the most secure, most powerful computer network in the world. It's much bigger than Amazon Web Services. It is much bigger than Facebook. It is much bigger than Google. And because of this, once again, it's really hard for Bitcoin to go to zero. Bitcoin's also highly decentralized. There's no central point of failure. There's no one place that it can fail. There are thousands and thousands of Bitcoin nodes, some that run on the ClearNet, the normal internet, some that use Tor, the onion router, right, in order to connect to different servers. But either way, there's even satellites, right? Blockstream has a satellite that runs the Bitcoin network. And all of these nodes are scattered across all continents on the planet, except maybe Antarctica for now. But there are Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin nodes all over the place. And because of that, that means that there's a global interest for Bitcoin, which makes it very, very hard for Bitcoin to go to zero. When we look at institutions, what banks are buying Bitcoin, what pension funds are buying Bitcoin, what universities and colleges are buying Bitcoins, what companies are buying Bitcoin, how many individuals are buying Bitcoin, are wealthy individuals buying, are poor individuals buying as well? Yes, this is true. Are people who live in America buying? Yes. Are people in the global south buying? Yes. Are people in Europe buying? Yes. Are people in Asia buying? Yes. So again, this is a global asset, and in order for everyone to get off the network, it's just unbelievably unlikely. It's become so big that the network is basically impossible to stop. And that's why, even though Bitcoin's been banned multiple times in different countries, Bitcoin never goes to zero. Because you can't ban Bitcoin, you can only ban yourself from Bitcoin. So we saw that when China banned mining in their country, right? Which, by the way, the hash rate in China has only gone up since that ban, since they've walked back that entire thing. Really what they were trying to do was take power away from individuals. Like, individuals can't mine, but then the government started mining Bitcoin, essentially, right? Government and large companies, right, that were in the back pocket of the government. Those people can mine, but not individuals. And that's what happens in a fascist totalitarian state. But anyways, the hash rate even in China started to go up after the fact, because you cannot ban Bitcoin. You can only ban yourself. When you build a brick wall around Bitcoin, really what you're doing is you're building a brick wall around yourself, because the rest of the world, the rest of the network, right, is going to continue using the Bitcoin protocol, right? You would need some sort of synchronized effort between all countries at once, in order to try to attempt to stop Bitcoin. But let's be real, that would not work, right? Things that are banned only become more valuable because the demand is still there, but the supply is now lower because you have to try to be on the hush hush about it, right? You got to be on the dark market about it. All right, the price of alcohol skyrocketed during Prohibition because people still wanted to drink, right? Even today, people still want to do drugs, right? But they're illegal, right? So you don't really stop illicit activity by saying, "Oh, this is bad. This is banned now," right? And also, something is not actually illicit activity just because the government says so, right? Just because the government says you can't hold a digital thing, right? You don't have the right to digital property. That doesn't automatically make it bad. There are such things as bad laws. And that's essentially what happens when countries try banning Bitcoin. They're trying to ban their individuals, their citizens, from having economic sovereignty. But what are some examples of how Bitcoin can actually go to zero? Let me throw a bone to some of the people in the comments. Let me throw a bone to some of the boneheads, right? So some people might say, well, if there's a massive EMP attack, then Bitcoin's going to go to zero. The issue with that is Bitcoin doesn't go to zero. It will just stop, right? First off, you can't do a global EMP. It's not possible. No one has that technology. Maybe you could say, oh, well, there'll be a giant solar flare and it's going to knock out all the electricity in the world. And then Bitcoin's going to go to zero. Again, Bitcoin doesn't go to zero. It will just pause. Bitcoin will be paused. And then once the first computer comes back online, it will start again from where it left off. Nothing has changed, right? And let's talk about all the electricity going out in the world. When people say this, like, really think about this. They really think that their gotcha for Bitcoin is all of the earth failing at once. All the electricity on earth failing at the same time. Do you think anything's going to have value, little buddy? You think, oh man, all the electricity's out and people can't eat or drive cars. You know what I mean? Hey guys, I have a gold bar, guys. Guys, look at my gold coins. Yeah, you know what they're going to do? You're going to come up to you with an iron, right? Iron's a cheaper metal than gold. They're going to come up with an iron wrench, right? And they're going to do they're going to do a number on your cranium with that wrench. And then they're going to look to see if you have any food around. And once they realize you have no food, you only have worthless gold coins, then they're going to leave and they're going to go find someone else to do the same thing too, right? A collapse of civilization is not a really good anti-Bitcoin talking point, okay? That just makes you seem extremely arrogant and super stupid. So please don't say that to anyone. If you ever like had that in your brain, I'm trying to save you from like embarrassment. Please don't say that around anyone. Because if they actually know what they're talking about, they're going to expose you and you're going to feel really embarrassed. You might even feel angry. So please don't do that. What's another example? Maybe some people might say, yeah, like a nuclear war. If there's like a nuclear holocaust and all the people blow up. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, like, if every human on Earth is radiated into soot, then, I mean, yeah, I guess somehow you beat Bitcoin, right? Even though without people, the network keeps going. You know what I mean? So it's still there. It still exists. So it's just, I mean, I don't know, buddy. Sure. Oh, sheesh. I was going to try to humor you guys, but I can't really think of any legitimate areas where Bitcoin actually goes to zero. Because if you've done like literally, 10 hours of research, this should be like the first question you're asking. And it becomes pretty obvious that it's just not possible for this to happen, right? The networks become too strong, it's too decentralized, and the qualities of Bitcoin are too good. It represents its monetary qualities too good, too well. And rational actors want good money. They want good stores of value. And Bitcoin just happens to be that thing. Right? When it comes to the cryptocurrency space at large, other cryptos can go to zero all the time. Why is that? Because they have living founders, right? The living founder can be arrested, they can be sued, they can be tortured, they can be forced to do something that they don't want to do, such as shut down the protocol or to change or ruin the network. A living founder could be coerced into doing something that makes your network go to zero, right? And that's never good. Satoshi is not around. There is no living founder. There's no one to try to arrest or coerce into doing something. When it comes to the other crypto markets, most of these guys are just pre-mining coins, right? Then they're dumping coins on you. And then from there, they're taking the proceeds and they're buying Bitcoin with it because they know that Bitcoin is the water that raises all tides, right? When there's a Bitcoin bull market, some altcoins follow that trend, but at the end, they never keep up. They never keep up with Bitcoin over long time periods. That's why all cryptos are being eaten by Bitcoin. Bitcoin is completely eating the entire crypto market, and I'm going to talk about that in another video. But let's just stay on topic here. The answer to the question is no. Bitcoin cannot go to zero due to its superior monetary properties, due to its decentralization, and due to its resilience, its anti-fragility, its ability to not only overcome any obstacles that it faces, but to become stronger after being pressured by those obstacles. Okay, it's survived the fork wars, it's survived bans, it's going to survive a lot more. It's survived 80% drawdowns, and obviously the game keeps going, but Bitcoin just cannot go to zero. Not in a practical sense. But maybe if we all get wiped out by a solar flare, then it probably won't be good for the Bitcoin network, and it'll be even worse for you. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. This has been Jinzi, BTC, Satoshi, Guapamoto. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone who you think might gain some value from it. And let's keep this train rolling. I just hit 500 subs. Thank you to everyone who's been watching me. And we're on the road to 1K. Let's keep it going. Thank you guys so much, and have a good day. Stack sats or die trying.
There's no value, it's a bubble, and I promise you, and you're right, it could go to 50,000, it could go to 100,000, but I'm certain that at the end of the day, it will end up close to zero.
The greatest scam in history, adding that it's a pump and dump scheme like anything the world has ever seen. You might remember he appeared on our show to discuss that. Now he's back with an even bolder call, saying Bitcoin is headed straight to zero.
I don't think I said it's going to zero. I said it's going to go eventually a whole lot closer to zero than a lot, because there's just no value there.
And I know who's behind Bitcoin. And it ain't some fucking Japanese guy in a cave. I know the guy. And when that comes out, you heard it here first, Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. When it comes out, zero. 99.999% of the people that own Bitcoin are fucking morons. Retarded, imbeciles. That's just it. You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero.